Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Pixel Therapy channel. And yeah, some interesting news has been dropped by Fanatec. They have released their direct drive wheel solution. And coming off the back of doing my 2018 direct drive user video, I thought that it would be prudent for me to actually give my thoughts and maybe try and dissect some of the things that Fanatec mentioned regarding their direct drive product and how they're looking at placing it, and maybe what that means in the broader aspect with all the various direct drive options that are out there. So without further ado, I am going to cue up the intro and we could get started on some of my thoughts. Welcome back, and I think we should just pretty much get straight into it. So to begin with, Fanatec released a video where they announced their direct drive, and it's on Facebook right here on their website. I'm not actually going to put the video up and play the video because it is rather long. It's about 20 minutes, maybe 20 to 30 minutes long. I feel that the presentation that they did was a little flat because this is a big product. I do think it will actually change the face of sim racing peripherals, especially wheels. It's something that people have been waiting for quite a while since they announced it at the Sim Racing Expo, last year in September. So we're looking at about a few months since they announced it. And I think the way they presented the wheel, they were trying to add humor and a laid-back attitude, but I think a lot of the humor didn't land, and it just kind of, the entire presentation looked a little as though they hadn't prepared. You know, it looked like something that I would do, to be very honest with you. It looked like the quality of presentation that someone would put together if it's not their full-time job putting this stuff together, or they're very amateur at putting this stuff together. The resolution that they were sending at wasn't that quite high. Now, normally I'm not a stickler for like resolution, but the reason I bring that up is you'll find midway through the presentation they start trying to show off the LED functions on the direct drive wheel. It's got a little LED panel on it, and you can switch between, I think it is some telemetry which shows the force feedback of the direct drive wheel, what newton meters you're running at it, the settings, all that kind of good stuff. And because of the poor resolution, we couldn't actually see the functionality that they were demonstrating, and it was at a weird far away angle. So, and I think a lot of the messaging as well didn't come off as concise because he would start saying something and then he would try and make a joke, and then it would be like, oh, have I forgotten anything? And so you sort of had to watch it very carefully and attentively to pick out the important key things. And I think that's why I'm doing this video. I'm trying to condense the key facts that I think people should know and what I think will be a game changer. So without going on too much of a rant myself, let's get straight into it. So the first thing that I think is important is, initially when the direct drive wheel was announced, it was going to be for Xbox One and PC. The reason being is PlayStation has a policy that they like to have all of their wheels officially licensed before you can actually work on the system. This is why any PlayStation wheel that you variant that you use for sim racing has got its own PlayStation variant. For example, you have the T300 RS, and then you have the GT T300 edition with the PlayStation logo and everything. That's the licensing deal. You have the Thrustmaster wheels, the TXPC Racer, XYZ, all these ones. And I know the GT is a Thrustmaster wheel, but I'm just giving you another example. And then you've got the Thrustmaster T150, which is very different from the Thrustmaster T180. It's exactly, the internals and all the other good stuff are the same, but the T150 is a PlayStation licensed wheel, and therefore it's got the PlayStation logo and it works. So the issue that Kunos had with this direct drive wheel was that they had to get a PlayStation licensed version. So if you listen to the presentation, they talk about the direct drive wheel 1, the DD1. The DD1 is the small, it's not the smaller one, but it is the one with the least torque, right? Dimension wise, they're the same, but it works within a range of 15 Newton meters to about 18 Newton meters. That's the DD1. The DD2 works between 18 Newton meters to 24 Newton meters, right? So I will actually, if we jump in the products here on their website and we look at their wheelbases, I don't know why that did that. We'll just pop back. Sorry about that. Okay, so if you jump onto the Fanatec website, you look at the wheelbases, right? So we'll start with the DD1, the DD2. So the DD2 is the bigger wheelbase, right? It's the one that ranges from 18 Newton meters generally, and it works up to 24 Newton meters at peak, okay? In the US, in US dollars, it's priced at 1,500, okay? In Australian dollars, if we go into the Australian Fanatec website here, which I will open in a different link just so that we can compare the prices. So we'll come back here to the American website, and over here we will jump onto the Australian website. If we look at the Australian website placing for the DD2, it's quite significantly more. It's about 2,500 Australian dollars. So the DD2 is the more expensive of the two direct drive wheels from what I'm gathering, or what I'm assuming, and that's why it's got a locked-in price. So what Kuno said was the DD1, which is their smaller torque direct drive wheel, so that's this one down here, this will be working on an auction system. So they said that it will be sold for about €1. So if we look at the Australian website here, it also has no price. So I'm assuming maybe $1 Australian or $0, and it'll be working on an auction system. And they did tout that as good news, but everybody knows that with auctions, the demand forces the price to go up. Okay, so, and also it's first come first serve. There's a whole lot. There's a lot of I would say inconsistency, or maybe uncertainty is actually the word I'm looking for. A lot of uncertainty when it comes to auctions. So you'll find when most people want to make a budget and want to put money aside for their direct drive wheel, they're better off putting money aside for the DD2, which is quite expensive. Now, if you remember my previous video when I compared it to, I think the fairest comparison will be the AccuForce wheel, because that's a put together package. The Fanatec Direct Drive wheel is significantly more expensive, I believe, than the put together package for the AccuForce Pro V2 Direct Drive wheel. Quality, I can't speak on the quality because no one has driven this thing, okay? So we don't know exactly how it drives. If it is like most of the Fanatec products, they are a company that is quite reputable in putting together good products, so chances are it'll feel good and it'll be a good wheel. So let's just say it stacks up quality-wise, right? So, but it is more expensive. The bonus is that Fanatec, in terms of peripherals and everything fitting together, it will be a no-brainer. If you want something that is going to be truly plug and play, this would be it. Because they have all the peripherals figured out, they have the shifters, the pedals, everything. Whereas with your AccuForce Pro V2, even with a complete set, you get your steering wheel, which isn't necessarily the highest quality. It's a good steering wheel, but it's not the highest quality steering wheel. And you get your button box, which is a decent, solid enough button box to get you started, but it probably won't be anywhere near the quality of steering rims that Fanatec put together themselves. The AccuForce Pro V2 doesn't come with pedals. I'm not saying that this comes with pedals, but I'm just saying that you are then going to have to go and find another brand of pedals to put together with your AccuForce, whereas with your Fanatec, it's all within in-house, so you all know it works seamlessly. So I guess that's the advantage, but the price is definitely a hurdle, and I don't think people are too surprised because Fanatec has always been slightly pricier than everything else. Now, here is the interesting thing. If you look at what they say with regards to the DD2, it is listed, let's see if I can find it here, as being a wheelbase for PlayStation and Xbox One. It doesn't actually say anything about PS4. Now, where was that when I was finding it? Give me a second and I will show that to you. Here we go. So it's on the Australian website. On the American website, for some reason, they don't actually show what it's compatible with on the American website. But on the Australian website, they put it down as PC and Xbox One ready. This is the DD2. This is the 18 to 24 Newton meter wheel, the more expensive one. All right. So where's the PlayStation one? Where's the PlayStation version of the Fanatec Direct Drive wheel? If you look at their products quite closely, you find under wheelbases, or racing wheels rather, there it is right here. Podium racing wheel officially licensed for the PlayStation. It has no price on it. If you click on that, I'm on the Australian website here, you will notice that the PlayStation variant seems to be the DD1. So I don't know if the PlayStation is limited to just the Direct Drive Wheel 1, or you're able to get a Direct Drive Wheel 2 and then use a PlayStation on it. But if you look at that, the SKU on here is DD1 Australian, and it's got PC, PS4, and it specifically says officially licensed for PlayStation 4. So that's something interesting. Clearly, this is the one that they've got working with F1. They say that they've got a partnership with the Formula 1 series, and they'll be bringing the wheel to it. And as you can clearly see, it's going to come with a brand new Formula rim from the silhouette over there. So that's something cool. We're going to have a new Formula rim coming on board. Hopefully, they'll be selling this Formula rim separately, and you can actually buy the rim and then use it with all your other CSW... Not CSW, what are they called? Yeah. Is it CSW? The Fanatec Club Sport, sorry. The Club Sport V2.5. That's what I'm thinking of. CSW, I think, is the pedals or something. Anyways. So, hopefully, yeah, you can get this Formula rim separately, buy it separately, and use it. So, what does this mean? I think that, what's my take on the Fanatec Direct Drive wheel announcement? I think that chances are it's going to be a great product. I don't think, because of the price barrier, it's quite expensive. It's really quite steep. The price barrier and the way there is unclarity or uncertainty regarding the Direct Drive Wheel version 1 and how that's going to be priced, I don't think that a lot of people are going to jump onto it straight away. I think that a lot of people who are shopping, or maybe who've been on the brink and thinking and wanting to see what Fanatec puts forward, might find that they might either lean for the AccuForce Pro, because it's all laid out, it's simple, they know how much it is, and chances are, if they've been squirreling away, averaging their price around the AccuForce, they probably can afford the AccuForce, whereas they might have to save a little more to get the Direct Drive 2 version of the Fanatec. Because the Direct Drive 1 version, goodness knows, they could try their luck in the auction, but if everyone's going there, it's going to be expensive. That's how auctions work. Either that, or because they're working off an auction basis, they're going to have limited number. I don't know, but that's it. And then you've got the PlayStation 4 version that hasn't been announced, and we're not too sure exactly where the pricing for that is. So, the benefit, though, is this is the first, like there was Kunos was saying, this is the first, you know, sort of tidied up commercial. Well, it's not the first. The AccuForce Pro was the first commercial solution. But this is another commercial solution which tidies up the whole issue with Direct Drive wheels. I am an OSW user, and I find that I've come to accept that tweaking settings and stuff and having profiles for different games and sometimes different cars within games is part of the course. And if Fanatec can actually eliminate that to an extent and have it automated, that'll be fantastic, and that'll make it truly more plug and play. But I don't know if I am willing to pay 2,500 Australian dollars for that, or 1,400 US dollars for that simplicity, because that doesn't take time. It takes about a week for you to dial in your steering wheel most of the time anyway. And with an OSW, yeah, it's an open source wheel, so there's a bit of a hack job look to it, but it actually works, you know. And I know one of the driving things they're talking about is that wireless use of data, so you don't need a USB cable going from your steering wheel, not the steering hub itself. So you've got the USB cable that goes from the actual motor to the computer, but then you also tend to have another USB cable, a coiled one, like this one here, which goes from your steering wheel button box to your PC so you can read the flappy pedals. So they're saying that that's all done electronically and you don't have those two USB cables, you have one, rather. The coiled USB cables for the flappies isn't that much of it. At no point has it gotten tangled up or anything, because you never really turning your car to that extent anyways, and whoever came up with the system thought about that. So you set it up and you might say it's an eyesore, I guess, but it wouldn't be any more worse than whatever cable management system you have with any of your other peripherals, really. So I think it's a step in the right direction by tidying everything up. I don't know whether it justifies the price hike, you know. I think a lot will be quality. And I think what will make this direct drive wheel sell is how they start to bundle it and what sort of deals and bundles they put together. I think that would say a lot. So if they can say, for example, that with that price, they'll throw in a set of pedals, then already it has got one above the AccuForce, which doesn't come with a set of pedals. If they can do a bundle, which is pedals, shifter, and handbrake, then that's even better. Because someone can go in there, just drop the money, get what they need, and it all works. They don't have to worry about adapters and dongles and that sort of a thing. So that's my take on it. I feel that yes, it does actually add another option to the direct drive wheel landscape. I don't know whether it necessarily has changed or really shooken up the direct drive landscape as much as I thought it was going to. But it's good to have it there. I'm hoping, in fact, I've never driven the wheel. I have no idea. I have no affiliation with Fanatec. But based on their other products, it's probably going to be a good wheel. Okay? How it'll compare to the OSWs and the AccuForce, Barry from Sim Racing Garage or something like that, he's probably going to have to get one, take it apart, and compare it with all the others. But I think it's fantastic that we have a direct drive wheel solution for consoles. I think that a lot of people who come from console, I started off on a console, and I probably spent that much price-wise, if you're considering me having to get a PC, a new rig that could handle a direct drive wheel rig, and the direct drive wheel itself. So I probably would have spent even more than the 2,500 Australian dollars or the 1,400 US dollars to get it into direct drive. But as long as some people don't have to think about getting a PC and they can stick with their console, and all they have to worry about is getting the new wheel and a sturdy enough rig to be able to handle the wheel, then I think, yeah, it's good. It's a good thing. It's also probably going to change the gaming rigs, the wheel stands, because the more this gets adapted by console players, wheel stands will have to reinforce their rigs to sell to the mass market. But anyways, that's way in the future and I'm speculating. Anyways, I'm going to cut this video short. I don't want to waffle on too much. Those are my final thoughts. Please comment if you like, if you don't like, if you think I'm wrong, if there's anything you think I missed. They did mention a release date in the Fanatec video, but I've forgotten what that is. But it's later on in the year. They're open for pre-order. So yeah, thank you very much. Like, subscribe, and have a fantastic day. Cheers.